you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hey folks, it's Voss here from thechrisvossshow.com. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Things that makes official welcome to the show. As always, the Chris Voss Show is the family that loves you. We've been here. We are the oldest living podcast out of a handful of original podcasts that were made 17, 20 years ago. And we're the only one that delivers daily podcasts. We're just that old, and we're still doing it because we care. So please support the show. Refer it to your family, friends, and relatives. Have 5 friends in your downline. Subscribe to the show. It's all free, too, by the way. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss. All those crazy places in it. Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today, an amazing young lady on the show. We're going to be talking about her insights. We're going to be talking about AI, everyone's favorite topic these days, and all that good stuff. Marie Bahl joins us on the show today. She's the CMO of Uptempo. She is a senior marketing and sales professional with a strong technical background and a knack for making the most complex technologies understandable and desirable to their intended audiences. Maybe she can show me how to work my VCR. With 2 decades of technology, business-to-business, and business-to-consumer experience, Marie defines and drives high-effective market strategies, defines winning brands, solutions, and customer acquisition strategies. Maybe she can help me get my password back for my AOL email account. Marie's experiences spanned a wide range of technology companies, including Opower, Tendril Networks, Converge, Yahoo.com, Zoho.com, Netrake, True Spectra, Netflix, and Sun Microsystems, to name a few. That or I just made up half those names and you'll never know. Marie began her high-tech career at Silicon Valley's premier internet public relations agency, and in their expertise software practice, I'm not sure if I'll kill this or pronounce it right, Niehaus Ryan Holler?
Yeah, Niehaus Ryan
Niehaus. Yeah. See, I just made up half those names. Welcome to the show, Marie. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you, Chris?
I am wonderful. And I don't mean to make fun of your wonderful resume. You've done a lot there in the Silicon Valley. Yeah.
Yeah, not enough. I think not enough for my marketing cohorts, which I'm here to talk about today.
Yeah. So give us the .io or .coms, wherever do you want people to find out about the company and about you?
Yeah, either way, tempo.com, or we'll get you to the same place. You can find out about us there, or you can follow me on LinkedIn, Marie Bahl.
And we're going to talk about marketing data's jailbreak moment. But before we get into it, can you give us a 30,000 overview of foundation of what Uptempo.io does?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, we get to the ROI of marketing. So return on investment, the holy grail of every marketing CMO, I think probably across the world, honestly. It's the only measure that matters, and it's the only measure we can't get to.
You mean you're supposed to get a return on investment? I thought marketing, you just throw money at it and hope it works out.
That's how it all started. I think that's how we got into the position we're in to begin with, right? Marketing was a cost center, and you threw money at it, and we weren't really sure what happened. Magic, voodoo happened in the background, and then sales took the credit, right?
Yeah, assuming there were sales.
So I'm assuming there were sales. I just came back from Cannes, as a matter of fact, and it was never more obvious to me that we have to have this conversation. So there was a lot of celebrating the creatives who are absolutely critical to our effort. And the only mention of AI actually was directed at that creative spark. So the AI was talking about, how do we do more content? How do we do more video, more 6-finger video, my favorite thing in the whole world? Or how do we get rid of the M dash in all of our writing now because it's an AI tell? So it was pretty obvious that they hadn't yet figured out that the real application for AI is pointing it at the data.
You mentioned six-figure video because I never heard that term before. That's why I do the show, so I can learn.
So AI is not quite, I think it's a teenager right now when it comes to things that are artistic and or creative. The M-dash, which I think I'm a writer by trade, and all my writer friends will acknowledge the fact that somehow we're not allowed to use the M-dash anymore because AI trained itself on our work. It started using the M-dash a lot. So people think that if the M-dash appears in your writing, that it's AI generated. And six-finger videos are what AI creates because it's a teenager and it's not quite sure that we have 5 fingers or not. So you end up with
weird fingers. Yeah.
All right. It's not quite ready. And we don't want it to replace us as creatives, right?
Yeah.
We want it to make us more credible. And that's really why this is a jailbreak moment for marketing, because applied well and Uptempo happens to do it. But if you don't get it through us, buy it, build it, find it, acquire it, get somebody to do it for you. You need to be able to more than ever be able to prove that the value of the effort that we undertake. So it's not enough just to get the money at the beginning of the year, apply to the voodoo that we do, and then at the end of the year go, hey, we did a great job. Didn't we do a great job? We ran it through this marketing mix model and it's showing that we did a great job. Give us our budget again for next year, right? That's not enough because they're saying do more with less, apply AI here and there, reduce your head count. They're coming after our budgets. So more than ever, we've got to prove the value of our effort.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think I can't remember where I picked this up because it's a week or two old and my brain is already fading from stupidity. But they were saying that a lot of the Silicon Valley companies seem to be trying this model where they're firing everybody or laying everybody off. Same thing, I guess. And they're trying to make one person run multiple AI agents, I guess, and somehow that replaces the team that you used to work with of humans. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, they're trying to apply that. You have to remember how AI was raised. Yeah. AI is not the end all be all. It's first of all trained on public data. Second of all, trained primarily on mathematics and coding. Okay, so as a teenager that's only learned mathematics and coding and has been trained on publicly available data sets. So for us, in Silicon Valley, they're basically trying to apply the AI rigor towards their coding teams and lay off development teams. What's happened, I don't know if you saw the news from Uber, they exceeded their AI token allowance in the first 3 months of the year or something crazy like that.
You're perfect to ask about this. We've been talking about this on the show where they've been trying to do that. And then the problem is now they're having to, what's the right word? Scarcity scavenge tokens. And they were like, holy shit, all these people that we did keep, they're burning through tons of money buying tokens. And so now they got to pace themselves or not blow through it. But here you are being told, hey, we just replaced you and fired 10 other people that you and your AI is supposed to replace, but you can't have enough tokens to do that.
Yeah.
Like
it's insane. It's literally insane. And nobody thought it through. Nobody was like, hey, wait a minute. If we go and rely completely on AI, do you think they might raise the price of tokens to the point that it actually is not cost effective for us to drive this anymore? And then we go off and look for engineers again. And oh, by the way, it's not going to replace all the engineers because I know you know this, the way AI learns is you have to train it. So you have to tell it right from wrong. So as you get into more sophisticated enterprise software, you need sophisticated enterprise software developers to tell you what's right, wrong, and they need to go through that code to make sure. Yes, there will be a world, call it 5-10 years from now, where AI is more prevalent. We're going to engage in different ways, but we've got to figure out what the right ways to do it are. And I think this gives marketing a unique opportunity, right? We did not actually we've been spreadsheet jockeys, stitching together 80 spreadsheets to validate our existence for the last 30 years. Hello. Excel called, they want their spreadsheets back. It's 1990 called, they want its strategy back. We're out here, we've got PhDs in left field running spreadsheets. Humans, back in the 90s, I've been in enterprise software for a long time. In the 90s, when I was at Sun, they'd say, listen, go find a function at a business where humans and spreadsheets are how they do their work, because that's where enterprise software should be. And meanwhile, we're just bumbling along over here in marketing, taking in every proxy indicator that everybody gives us from our marketing automation and email tools and work management solutions, right? Every proxy indicator, impressions and click-throughs and open rates, which but I don't know if you got a CFO, Chris, but my CFO could care less about proxy indicators like that. That's interesting. Tell me what that means. I gave you $1. What did we earn on that $1? So we've been incapable of delivering that for a whole variety of reasons. And that's what our software platform does. So we work with some of the biggest brands around right now. And ironically, somewhat, the biggest vertical for us is in tech, because they recognize their deficit kind of out of the gate. They're like, okay, we can't build that. And there's also this notion, I'll show you, that where people think that you've got boards all over the place. They're like, just get a Snowflake instance and dump all your data in it and run ChatGPT on the back. Yeah, that ain't going to work. It's not going to work. It's not trained to understand markets and humans and how they interact and behavioral, all of it, right? So we're the experts at that. So this system actually gives you the data you need to make the decisions in real time. So instead of giving you a data point, a proxy indicator, it says, hey, these 5 data points just flagged in this last week, which shows you a signal. And it says, hey, that signal says you should probably move money from here to there because you're going to get more value or power in it. So it puts the control back in our hands. And then it also allows us to walk into the boardroom and say, answer questions like, hey, you ran 6 campaigns last quarter. Which one did better? Without going, hold on, please. I'll be right back. I got to go tell my marketing ops team to crunch another 5 spreadsheets so that I can answer your question 3 months after you asked it. It's 2026.
And so you guys are able to do signal detection where you can use AI to find hidden patterns and breakthroughs across channels. And those are better than what most human beings could catch up, because they can collect a lot of data. It's pretty crazy how fast they can do it.
It's kind of funny. I had a meeting not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago in New York, and there were a bunch of CMOs there. And we've been so berated by a lack of technology support that they looked at me and they were like, yeah, I don't know. ROI is the hardest thing to get to, which is probably never going to happen. And I was like, really? I mean, that's your bridge too far. We send people to the moon. We run an energy grid that allows millions of people to get electricity. And you think that we can't aggregate the marketing data sets to the point that we can demonstrate current return on investment? Hello, that's 100% possible. You just lack the systems. You haven't been given the systems you need to be able to do that.
Yeah. Even if you're using AI, you're still selling to human beings for the most part to buy stuff, right?
Yeah,
that's
right.
Until I have an agent that, I don't know, buys stuff, and I'd be scared to think of what it would just let loose on. I don't know. I got 5 scam calls and I gave them all 20,000. They're all Nigerian princes, Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
Sent the email in. You're going to be rich soon. Thank you, ChatGPT. But you referred to AI as being in a teenage phase. Do we know if it's Gen Z or not? Because if it is, we're really screwed. No, I'm just
they are my children. Yeah, we love our children. I am a Gen Z mom, so I have to feel like, they're great. Yeah. I'm from the hidden generation. They keep it, by the way, I'm Gen X, and they're always like, the boomers. They're like boomers, then millennials. And I'm like, wait a minute, we exist. Hello. We brought you the internet. Remember us? It's just crazy. Anyway.
We just sit back and watch them fight. That's the beautiful part. I just watch them fight with each other, the boomers. And the boomers are just sitting in piles of money, and they're just like, what's going on over there? And I know what the millennials did wrong. They all wanted to be Instagram stars, and then
instantaneously
the Gen Zs, they all want to be TikTok stars. So
well, don't get me started. Don't get me started on millennials, Chris. That'll be a whole podcast.
You and me, we're both Gen Xers. We can roll. And they always go. They always tell me, they go, you Gen X is the one that raised some millennials. And I'm like, I didn't have any kids.
No, we did not. We did not raise millennials. They came up behind us. Don't get me started. We raised Gen Z, and we'll see how that turns out. But this AI thing, it's more relevant for us. If you imagine that every other function in the enterprise, call it manufacturing, inventory systems, finance, et cetera, have had an enterprise architecture like the one I'm talking to you about now for 30 years. Okay. We don't have one. We're like knitting together different systems and spreadsheets, et cetera, over time. there's actually an advantage to us not having had one before, because all those systems need to be re-architected to imagine AI. We're building a system that has it inherent. So at every layer of the enterprise, it's operationally in the backbone of the solution. It's at the data layer, so it's intelligently interpreting that data. In terms of your business, by the way, first of all, your vertical. Second of all, your brand. Wells Fargo and Bank of America don't think of themselves as the same thing. FYI, they don't go to market the same way. So you get an AI that's trained specifically on you. And then at the application layer, so you've got all these agentic possibilities all the way through and knitted through the system. Whereas somebody who's got an antiquated manufacturing system that they built in 1996, they're going to struggle to apply AI. They're going to have to go back and re-architect. So we are a little bit fortunate at this point that we have the opportunity today to really put our arms around AI, apply it where we want it applied, which is proving our value, directed at the data, and point it away from the creativity. Because at the end of the day, you made a good point. I don't know about you. I answer no ads. Nobody can reach me. I'm out of marketing. You'd be lucky if I respond to an email ever. And so we're gonna have to get more creative, use more of our creative juices as humans in the way that they'll respond.
Yeah. When you were saying AI is teenagers, I put my chat GPT up for adoption, but maybe I'll keep it, I guess. I think, here's an interesting factoid on your website. AI doesn't fix bad data. It amplifies it. And one of the things 100%. You guys talk about is why fragmented data limits AI effectiveness. If you want to talk
there are 4 data sets that matter to marketers to get to the elusive ROI measurement. That's your budget, the plan that you develop, the execution metrics that you anticipate, and the performance of that effort. Those 4 data sets, if reconciled together, common taxonomies, right? Not a campaign means something here and a campaign means something different here. So that fully reconciled information architecture allows AI then to be applied over the backbone and interpret signals that are inside your data set. If you don't interpret that, if you don't structure that data, if you don't pull it together and point AI and say, listen, these are the 4 data sets that matter, it's the only things I want you to measure, and it's not reconciled, then you're going to end up with garbage. You're going to have ChatGPT telling you things that aren't true. So the first thing I always say, you have to get IA, information architecture, before AI.
And then, I mean, these things can hallucinate too. These things can hallucinate too. You got to know when it's smoke some wacky tobacco or something, whatever those chat GPTs are doing in the back room.
To our credit, marketers, so today the stats look like this. We get between 8 and 15% of revenue every year. And every year, most marketers come in under at the end of the year, meaning they have underspent. Why? Because we're good stewards of the dollars that we have, and we're trying not to go over. But that's wasted money, right? It's wasted money because we lack visibility, right? But on top of that, we've actually been driving the revenue of the business for the last 30 years blind. So our intuition is pretty darn good, right?
Yeah.
But our inability to prove that on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, to basically say, hey, more than just trust me. Hey, CEO, trust me. I did it for you last year. I'm going to do it for you this year. We want to be able to show immediately in that month, in that week, in that quarter that we've seen signals that are either showing that our plan is marching forward as anticipated, or that FYI, we had a client not too long ago who moved $250 million in a quarter to something else that was performing better.
Oh, wow.
Revolutionary stuff, right? If you can't see it at time in the moment, you don't have the capability to do that. But if you can see that data and it's reconciled, then you can take that kind of action.
Now, do most big brands like for example, Coca-Cola or Bud Light and all those big brands you used to see on the Super Bowl, it seems like a lot of their advertising is built for brand building as opposed to, do we run a commercial and 500 people went out and bought Coke in that day or something? So their ROI is a little harder to measure, or is it? Do you tell me? You're the pro.
No, you get stats, right? Like
Yeah.
marketing mix modeling is something that has been around since the 1970s. Imagine PhDs in a room with spreadsheets running models constantly. The reason it evolved in the 70s was because how do you justify the value of a TV ad versus a billboard ad versus a radio ad versus whatever, right? So they already were thinking about how once a year do I prove the value of my mix to the people that have given me the money to deploy it. So brand building is still incredibly important. When you think of big brands like that, obviously they want to get a preeminent brand. But you think a couple layers down and you think about regionally, how is Coke selling versus Pepsi in Boulder, Colorado, and what do the sales look like, and have our promotions succeeded? We don't have any of, they have zero ability to affect that today. They affect it maybe a quarter later. If they're lucky, a half year later. And if they're really lucky, maybe next year they get to affect it. But if you get real-time data coming in from the retail outlets, coming in from the promotions that you're doing, coming in from the responses that you're getting online, from the models that are interpreting the data signals from your ads, etc., if you start to see that more currently, then you can start playing the game at that level, right? You can add to your brand building and start to get more honed in on where your buyers actually are and where you maybe need to build new ones.
What you guys do this with Uptempo? What sets you apart from maybe some other the competitors in the marketplace?
Nobody else is trying to get to ROI. Everybody else will give you proxy indicators on what, I'm just not kidding. We have an avalanche of proxy indicators out there. Impressions, eyes, share of voice, click-throughs, open rates, downloads. All of those are proxy indicators for the real deal, which is return on investment. How do you interpret all of those apart from one another? So I'll tell you a little boring, let me bore you for 2 seconds about enterprise software. Back in the day, when enterprise software was shrink wrapped onto a disk, Chris, and we mailed it to you and we sold it to you with a bunch of services. It was a whole thing. The whole brand stopped. Everybody, finance joined in and sales was involved, and everybody who was around that function that was going to be transformed had to actively play a role in deploying this enterprise system that would give everybody the data they needed to do their job well. It was a 2-year thing. Everybody stopped what they were doing, right? Marketing was not part of the core business at the time we were developing enterprise software for other functional areas. It was considered a cost center. When we made the crossover, SaaS became all the rage. SaaS, let me tell you, that acronym stands for Software as a Service. As somebody who was there when we developed it, the intent was only a delivery method change. We're going to give it to you easier. You can download it. It's going to be great. No more shrink wrap. What happened is it became the attributes of scale, availability, reliability, security, those became synonymous with the value of enterprise. So all of a sudden, marketing, the way people served marketing, were 1 million siloed point solutions at last count on Chief Martech, little probe for him, a little push for him, 5,000 plus. So now you're a marketer, you're a brand. You're thinking, hey, technology is serving me. They're giving me all these great software tools. They're all enterprise class. They're not actually enterprise class. So you buy 19 different point solutions, none of which speak the same language, none of which have the same taxonomy, none of which prove the same data points, and none of which can be reconciled to return on investment. And yet that's what you're being asked for from the board constantly. Are you doing the best you can? Can you save money? Are your campaigns performing? So what do? You hire a marketing ops team and a bunch of spreadsheet jockeys, and you hire more PhDs to try and prove it out. So we in most enterprise solutions, the enterprise platform comes first and the point solutions hang off of it. In marketing, the point solutions came first and there is no enterprise architecture. So we're retrofitting that enterprise architecture today. We integrate with every point solution out there. We run the most premier models, attribution models, marketing mix modeling, and we get you to ROI.
Nice. Wonderful there. And now if someone's listening out there, we publish this on LinkedIn and we got a big LinkedIn newsletter. Who's your prospective client out there? What do they need to have to qualify? Do they have a minimum spend, net worth?
Yeah. Right now, we're serving the ones with the biggest problems. So $2 billion and up in spend. We've got a client in the beer category who spends $8 billion. Spends, not revenue. When I'm saying $2 billion and above in revenue are our primary targets, but they spend $8 billion in marketing. So they're exponentially more than that. They're obviously the ones with the biggest problem. So we serve people in almost every vertical you can imagine, from finance to energy to retail to CPG. Anybody who is awash in data that they can't reconcile, we're your go-to.
And you talk about how Gen X was mysteriously erased from existence.
I know, how does that happen? Yeah,
have we? I don't know. I'm buying all sorts of stupid stuff. I'm buying all sorts of stuff on eBay all day.
Here's my funny story from Cannes, I'll tell you. So I'm sitting in a very hot room, Chris. It was incredibly hot in France a couple of weeks ago. And it was luxury brands who shall remain nameless for this point of this conversation. But the person on stage who was talking about it, she was talking about, yes, we're targeting Gen Z for things like F1. Okay. Gen Z. Okay, hold on, please. And then she was like, boomers, this, millennials, that. Gen Z are our primary targets. And I wanted to stand up and go, okay, number one, we're not boomers. That's our parents. Number two, we're the ones who can afford F1. Last time I checked, my child can't afford a $40,000 F1 experience. And that happens over and over again. We're getting lumped into the category with our parents, and our parents they're done buying. They're on their way towards chilling out at home and watching TV. It's weird. I don't know what it is about our generation. We're strong and yet apparently silent.
We're latchkey kids, man. We're strong. We survived drinking out of the hose. I mean,
hello, dude. All of it.
You can't even do that nowadays because a lot of cities have secondary water. They have gray water going through the hose or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, don't anybody drink that water. You're like, does it sound safe? I don't want to put that on my bushes.
My Gen Z child might be building one of those water treatment facilities for a company he just started with.
Oh, really?
I heard all about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All good. Yeah.
Yeah. We need good eat healthy water. But yeah, I'm surprised. I remember, I don't know, it was somewhere in my teens and someone told me, they go, spiders and creepy crawlers are all up in that hose when you turn it on. And you used to have to run it though for a little while because if it was really hot,
it was hot.
You'd have to let the water run. And I'm like, well, you let it run, so I'm sure all the black widows in there get out of there before I drink it.
Somebody said to me one time, "Your parents didn't let you drink out of." I'm like, our parents kicked us out of the house, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. We were gone at 8:00 in the morning and told not to come back.
And it was just acceptable to walk up to anybody's house, turn on their faucet, drink
100%,
and keep going. Like no one ever would come out and be, what the hell are you doing in my yard? Can't do that now. You get shot or something.
Right.
Something call 911 on you. There's some kid out here.
100%.
But I'm a single guy. I can't ever afford marriage or divorce. I'm saving up my first divorce, and then
you're probably smart. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people say that. But all the married people do. But so I buy like all sorts of stupid shit. I'm just buying all sorts of stupid money. I don't know why they're ignoring me. I'm
telling you, all brands, pay attention. We buy things. That's
we do. And I'll spend stupid money on stupid shit. Don't ask me how much I spent on Rush concerts this year.
Ooh, I saw Rush live. That was so fun.
Yeah, it's about 5 figures now between collectibles and shows and travel and concerts. And I think I'm going to 5 or 6 concerts now with Rush. Nice. So yeah, we got fuck you money, man. I just spent a lot of money at Journey too.
Hello. So yeah, they totally ignored us. And then they were like, yeah, Gen Z needs to get F1. And I was like, okay.
That's so crazy, man. That is, even I won't spend money on F1. They wrote me, somehow they got a hold of my email, some PR team did. And they were trying to get me to buy some $5,000, I don't know what. And I was like, nah, that's my Las Vegas hookers and coke money. So
can't part with that.
Yeah, you got to go to Vegas, right? I don't know what that means, folks. What else should we know about what Uptempo's doing that I haven't asked you about?
Just you can get to ROI. Come see us. We'll talk to you all about it. You don't have to bite this whole thing off in one fell swoop. Sometimes it feels daunting. People are like, "Oh my God, that's going to take forever to reconcile all that data." Bite it off one part at a time. Start to reconcile to your budget, then move on to integrating with your plans, then move on to integrating all of your execution points and reconciling that data, then move on to performance and ingesting even third-party data sets that will make your data more valuable. And eventually you're there. You've got the entire end-to-end.
Yeah. And so they can consult with you guys, work with you guys. You guys help them nail down all their stuff. I guess you guys work with their marketing teams to make everything better, I guess.
Yeah, we work with, I always call it ancillary to marketing. So marketing, finance, performance, and core marketing. One of the first wedge products we're delivering at the end of this year is for media buyers. So pay attention, everybody. All of your agency data can be integrated here. We can pull in third party. We're running marketing mix models and attribution models. Yeah, we're working with everybody in all of the key areas in marketing. In fact, as it relates to F1, PR, the evasive PR that everybody measures in share of voice, we were able to value F1's PR against revenue in a quarter. So not a fuzzy metric for PR, but the PR actually influenced the revenue in this quarter to this amount.
That's pretty darn good. That's pretty good. People are always trying to, there's so many things like bad click ads or cheating click. I forget what they call them, where there's groups out there that basically try and run up the costs of competitors in their ads by hiring things to click through their ads and run up their spend. And I've heard all sorts of weird stuff about it. I think we've had a few people on a few times that their companies try and fight, fake clicks and stuff like that. But it's pretty huge. And you want to know if one of my biggest problems I wish they would solve is anytime I buy something, and it can be expensive too, so I'm not buying more of it, right? Yeah. I'm buying a $500 Rush ticket. I'm not buying another one to that concert. Yeah. And what's funny is after you buy just about anything, you will see for the next week ads run at you to buy that exact thing. Yeah. And that is like the stupidest waste of money I've ever seen in my life. And I'll just sit there and I'll just be like, this poor company, not that I feel sorry for most companies, but it's a waste. Somebody's job's on the line. And you're sitting there going, I every day I'll see it come up and I'll just be like, I already bought it. Like, why?
Do you remember back in the day when leaflets were the thing? We just dropped leaflets from the sky, right? And then we just were like, paper them to death, right? I feel like we're in that version of the internet right now. Just paper them to death, and email marketing and all of our channels. Just paper them to death. Yeah. You know why you paper them to death? Because if you don't have the data to show that you talked to Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Wood and Mrs. So-and-so, and this is what their response, if you don't have all that data, then papering them is how you get it. And you're always going to have people trying to cheat the system. We let the people who execute in those areas, or the people who are selling ads and measuring them, we let them get back to the job of weeding those people out, because we then make their data actually intelligent and reconcilable to return on investment, so they can stop trying to generate new proxy indicators and get back to getting the crazies off the system, right? So I'm super excited to see what marketers empowered with data that demonstrates signal. What are they going to do now? That was my first reaction as a marketer who's been running onto intuition for the last 30 years. When I first saw that dashboard that allowed me to, wow, wait a minute, that's not what I thought was going to happen in this one thing, and drill in to see whether the asset was, like, it gave me a place to run the business of marketing for the first time. And that's an exciting thing.
Yeah, definitely. What is the future of AI and marketing that you see going forward? Do you want to tease out any things that you see on the horizon? I mean, this is, of course, before the teenager grows up and turns into Terminator and kills us all.
But I think it's up to us to decide, right? And as it is with every other implementation of AI, at the end of the day, if humans aren't interested in figuring out how we want to engage with it, then we're off in la la land, and we should all buy islands and try to escape with our families. And with you should probably just go with Rush and hang out with them wherever they are. But
you're English, so it might be
just exactly head over that way. Right. So I think it's up to us, right? And that's the challenge I want to put out to marketers. Do you want AI pointed at our creative? I don't. Let's point it at the data. And then I think the way it looks in 10 years is we're far more sophisticated managers of our effort. We can actually run the business of marketing like every other business function, and we can mic drop in the boardroom with ROI.
That's where you want to do it. The other thing is I don't know if this enters the purview of your company and what you guys are doing, but one thing I find is they're trying to use AI in ads and commercials. At least I don't think big companies are yet, but I know a lot of small players are. And like I've got a friend who he writes a Substack, and I don't know why he has AI do it. He's good on camera and in vocal, but he started having personas do his marketing. And I wrote him and I go, dude, your shit's setting off my uncanny valley, man.
Yeah.
And I had to explain what uncanny valley was to him. And I didn't know what it was before, a couple of years ago, before somebody came and told me.
Yeah.
And I don't like it because it feels disingenuous.
It's disingenuous. Humans respond to humans, and that isn't going to change. Not now, not ever. Even the kids who are overexposed to technology still respond to one another in a way. We can only manage what we can manage. And under my purview today is the function of marketing and whether or not we're going to protect our creative spark and insist on it by proving its value. The only way that we get to maintain it, the only way we get incremental dollars to spend on better and better and better and more robust creative is if we can prove that it's better than some machine spitting out garbage. And so we already know the answer to that. Intuitively, as humans, I don't respond to anything that the machine sends me. So I think we get to decide. And under my purview today is this marketing function. And I'm looking forward to being a champion for them.
I know Gen Zers are trying to bring back old technologies. I guess I understand they feel like they're more genuine. They want to do Nokia phones again. They want to do, like, cassettes are coming back.
Yeah.
I never even thought I'd see cassettes come back. They want Walkmans and all that shit when I was a teenager, man.
Yeah, it's funny story. I'm a marketer, right? I go to events all the time. The two biggest kind of giveaways that people just lined up around the block for were novel T-shirts where you essentially had a printing right there. They could print onto the T-shirts right there, and they could pick from a bunch of designs. And the other one was a handheld telephone that plugged by USB-C into your phone. And kids loved it. They were like,
does it have the dial, the rotary dial?
Yeah, I wish we should bring that back too.
Yeah, let them have that.
Let us think a little bit more before we call somebody.
Yeah, I still, to this day, if I ever got a night in jail, I don't even think I remember my mom's. I can remember her landline because she still has her landline and she's had it since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I can remember that. But any other of my friends, I don't even remember her cell phone number. So
yeah. I remember my grandma's number because we had to memorize all that back in the day.
And that, folks, is why Chris Voss doesn't do crime, because he can't remember the bill. You can't remember people's phone number. Don't do crime, because
don't do crime.
If you
don't know the phone number.
You got to know a number to dial, and unless you can remember. Hey, bailiff, can I get my phone? I gotta get my mom's number.
Yeah, actually, they have to give you a rotary phone because the only way you remember it is by how many clicks it went around, right?
Yeah, that's how you learn to remember all those numbers. What's this number? I think I still remember my childhood's phone number, and I think it's still live. Anyway, So as we round out the show, give people a final pitch out on your company, and what you guys are doing there, and how they can get involved.
Yeah, listen, we're Uptempo. We're ROI or die. That's our mission. We want to make sure every brand can prove its value, not just to its customers, but in the boardroom. You can find us at www.uptempo.com or uptempo.io. Connect with me on LinkedIn, Marie Bahl McKenna. I write constantly on this subject, and I'd love to hear from you.
Marie, it's been fun to have you, and we love Gen Z here, folks. We just tell jokes, and we have to have some fun. They're good kids, but I have to hold down it was passed down from me from elders that when they get on my lawn, I got to spray them with the hose. That's just the way it is. It's not personal. It's just I'm just doing what was done to me when I was a kid. So thank you, Marie. So we got the .io in there, right?
Yeah.
Uptempo.io. check it out, folks, and all that good stuff. And is there a minimum that they need to have? Is there a minimum spend or minimum place on the top 50?
Yeah, I'd say if you're in the Fortune, call it 2,000, we're somebody that you need to talk to.
Yeah, we're like 2001, so we got to do a little more sales again.
We'll work on that for you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Marie, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks, Jonas, for tuning in. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, YouTube.com/Chris Voss, and all those crazy places in the net. Be good to each other, or else I'll come over and fix it. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever made to improve your brain and your life. Warning, consuming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, and irresistible sexy. Consume in regularly moderated amounts. Consult a doctor for any resulting brain bleed.